Every season brings big change to Apex, and Season 12 is going to be no different. If you want to hit the ground running in your games, you've got to make sure you're thinking critically about the changes to the game and how they could affect the upcoming season. What's up, guys? It's Valued, and today we're going to dive right into all the changes coming in Season 12 and what that means on the game in general. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into the good stuff. Starting off, let's talk maps. Normal matches this season will rotate between Storm Point, Kings Canyon, and the newly modified Olympus. World's Edge is going to be taking a seat on the sideline for at least the first split, and Sabotaged Olympus will be the first ranked map. I think a lot of us, including myself, are sad to see World's Edge not make the cut, but hopefully we'll see it back really soon. As for the new Olympus, the devs have shuffled around a few of the POIs and opened up some alternative rotation routes in certain areas that have shown to be congested in the past. I'm excited to see how these changes feel, but since a lot of the POIs themselves haven't been changed, I think we can expect the map to play pretty similarly to previous iterations of Olympus. With this in mind, we can be pretty safe in applying a lot of past Olympus meta knowledge to this season, and do a pretty good job of predicting how certain legends, weapons, or situations might play out. Obviously, we have to get our hands on the map to really get a grasp of what is strong, but it's a pretty safe assessment. In the past, Olympus has been a third-party heavy map, with fast legends dominating the map as teams constantly look to get involved in fights. It also had a lot of areas of the map that had extreme elevation, though the devs have said they've tried to dial that back a bit as well. It sounds like, and I hope, we're getting the Olympus we all love with some quality of life fixes. So while we should expect the meta to shape up similarly this season, there have been a lot of changes since we last saw the map that we all love. Legends are a big point of change every season, so let's chat about some of the confirmed changes and then discuss some meta discussion surrounding what this could mean for all of us as we make our way into the new season. First, let's talk about the newest addition, Mad Maggie. She's got a launcher that shoots a spike that sticks to surfaces and basically thermites the enemies on the other side, and an ultimate that throws out a big ball of destruction that deals damage to the first enemy hit and provides speed boost for your whole squad behind it, and a passive that reveals enemies she damaged and gives her extra movement speed with shotties. Now, even without us knowing the exact numbers, on paper she seems really strong, and will likely land in a powerful spot at the start of the season. Her skills seem to fit Olympus really well too, with her ultimate allowing her squad to quickly move into a fight and enter with a bang. With the nerfs to Octane and Wraith not being all that good on Olympus in previous seasons, there's a chance that Maggie comes in as a powerful offensive option for her squad. And guys, with all these changes in mind, one aspect of your game that you want to make sure is dialed in before Season 12 finally gets here is your aim. And the best way to practice and improve your aim rapidly is by using AimLab. If you're serious about improving your aim and making sure you're ready to absolutely demolish in Season 12, check out the top link in the description below and check out AimLab for free. Alrighty guys, back to the news. Crypto is getting a big buff, with his drone being able to be launched a bit in front of him, allowing it to scan anything in its view as it comes to a stop. The drone will also be able to mount to surfaces, allowing Crypto to set up his drone more discreetly for enemy pushes or just sneaky info gathering. And this little toss that's being added to the drone will also make EMPs a lot easier to hit, as your drone can get to locations ahead of you much faster. Crypto mains have been asking for buffs for a long time, and it looks like they finally received them. This has the potential to push Crypto up in priority a lot, maybe even to the point where he's rivaling Bloodhound, but only time will tell. Crypto still has to be careful of when he's in his drone, especially on a crazy map like Olympus. But these changes should help him keep up with the pace of the game more, and there are a lot of open areas for his drone to keep an eye on in this map. Caustic is getting hit with one nerf that is likely going to lower his effectiveness a lot. His barrels are now going to be able to be destroyed even after the gas activates, with the gas lingering for a short period after the barrel's death. Now, if the gas sticks around for a while after the barrel dies, it might not be that big of a nerf. But this definitely guts Caustic's ability to hold chokes in open areas or use the barrels in combat as extra cover. Now, don't get me wrong, his gas is still crazy strong, but this change, along with the Watson buffs last season, could lead to a pretty big meta shift, assuming everything is as it sounds. Alrighty guys, now it's time to talk about weapon changes. Again, we don't have the full patch notes, but we have a ton of confirmed info already of some of the major shakeups happening in Season 12. One of the biggest, and honestly one of the ones I'm kind of sad for, is that the Flatline and the Longbow are going into the Replicator. That's right, these two weapons are no longer going to be ground loot, but can be crafted at the Replicator with resources. I'm not sure how I feel about this change. On one hand, you'll always know where to find these weapons, but on the other hand, if you don't get access to a Replicator and you want to run one of these guns, it can be really tough to do so. I really love the Flatline, so having it as a craftable item is going to be a bit odd. But I could see a world where the meta revolves more around these crafting stations instead of just teams using them to load up on batteries or ammo. One thing I can say for sure is it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But just know you can get yourself a guaranteed longbow or flatline at those crafting stations. One thing that I'm excited for is hammer points are returning for the RE45, P2020, and the Mozambique, giving these sidearms some much needed power if you manage to find the hop-up. This could make the RE45 and Mozam in particular really strong, but it's doubtful they get used as a secondary over one of the other shotties, wingman, or an energy weapon. Now, there's also a brand new hop-up coming to the game, Kinetic Feeder. This will be for the Peacekeeper and the Triple Take, with it reloading rounds into your mag and lowering the choke time when you're sliding. Now, this one seems really interesting, and it could be really strong if you use it effectively. Honestly, it seems like more of a niche hop-up, but considering it applies to the PK and the Triple Take, two of the most powerful weapons in the game last season, it should give them even more of a power boost. Now, honestly, I don't think it's going to make that many waves other than cementing these two weapons as powerful options. And finally, a change I think we're all kind of sad for, the Volt is going into the care package, and the Alternator is coming back out as ground loot. The Volt is going to be really strong as a care package weapon, but the base Alternator seems like a weaker replacement for the Volt in terms of ground loot. This is definitely going to take some of the power out of the energy ammo class, which isn't necessarily a bad thing with how powerful those weapons have been for quite some time. My worry is that the Alternator is going to be heavily overshadowed by the R99 and the Car SMG, but we will have to wait and see what the stats look like as it comes back out as ground loot. Now, we've touched on some of the individual implications for how these changes could adjust the meta, but let's step back and look at the whole picture. Mad Maggie, an aggressive legend, is getting added to the game, adding another offensive option to the roster. When you combine this with the nerfs to Caustic and the buffs to Crypto, there seems to be a shift away from more of a defensive playstyle just a little bit. Add on Olympus being the ranked map, and these legend changes, along with Ashe being in the game since the last time the map rolled around, seem to be pushing us towards a very aggressive legend meta. While there are likely going to be other legend changes that shift this even more, it does seem like there's going to be a lot of aggressive options on Olympus this time around. As for the weapons, the Volt has been one of the strongest SMGs for quite a while. With shotties already being strong last season and Kinetic Feeder giving a bit more power to the PK and even the Triple Take in closer fights, we're likely going to see a lot of these weapons being grabbed over SMGs. I hope the Alternator will be strong, but with how good shotties are, the Volt was often the SMG pushing them out of many players' loadouts. Now, the Flatline and Longbow being put in the Replicator could turn into a buff for these guns, as you have a guaranteed way to find them rather than hoping for them in the ground loot. That being said, the more value these replicators have, the more players are going to prioritize them. So I'm really interested to see if we have even more of a focus on crafting and if they elevate to an even more important objective. I for one know that I will likely be crafting myself a flatline if I can do so, and I expect these guns to be good options to upgrade your loadout if you're going to craft up some heals and want to give them a go. Alrighty guys, I for one am really excited for these changes, and I hope you are too. If you guys want to make sure you're improving and becoming the best player you can be, make sure to sub to our channel for the best tips and tricks in Season 12. As always guys, it's been your boy Valued, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.